3 people are thinking about you right now, not casually, not in passing, intentionally. And the strange part is, they feel something shifting in you before you fully understand it yourself. You've grown quieter lately, not weak, measured. You don't rush to respond. You don't explain yourself the way you used to. Your reactions have slowed. Your emotions don't spill out on command anymore. There's space between what happens and how you respond to it. That space is new. They can feel something changing. It's subtle, but it's there. In your silence, in your eyes, in the way you no longer chase conversations that don't feed you. You're harder to read now, harder to access. And in a world addicted to noise, that kind of restraint feels almost dangerous. You didn't announce this shift. You didn't post about it. You didn't warn anyone. But energy always speaks before words do. This isn't your final form. And the ones thinking about you, they're not all thinking the same thing. One remembers who you were, one watches who you're becoming, and one senses what's coming next. Not all thoughts carry weight, but one of them will. You didn't make a speech about it. You didn't gather people and declare your transformation. You just changed, slowly, quietly, permanently. You stopped explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stopped chasing validation from those who only valued you when you were convenient. You stopped reacting emotionally to bait designed to pull you back into smaller versions of yourself. And that wasn't easy. There were nights you questioned everything. Moments you almost texted back. Times you nearly returned to familiar chaos just to feel something predictable again. Most people do. Most people retreat to what hurts because it's familiar. Most people go back. You didn't. The betrayal reshaped you. The rejection clarified you. The isolation strengthened you. What felt like abandonment was actually compression, pressure, a tightening of identity. Those experiences weren't random attacks on your worth. They were refinement chambers. They stripped away your need to be chosen. They exposed your tolerance for disrespect. They forced you to sit with yourself without distraction. And in that silence, something solid formed. You're operating from somewhere deeper now, not from impulse, not from ego, not from fear of being alone. There's a weight behind your decisions, a stillness behind your words. You don't argue to win anymore. You observe to understand. You walk away without performance. Growth done loudly earns applause. Growth done silently destabilizes rooms, because when you evolve without warning, people don't get time to adjust their expectations of you. They reach for the version they remember and find it gone. That's when confusion begins. That's when curiosity sharpens. You changed without permission. So the real question is, who noticed? The first person thinking about you is someone who once had direct access. They knew your patterns, your softness, the way you responded too quickly, the way you stayed a little longer than you should have. They grew comfortable with your availability, comfortable with your forgiveness, comfortable with the version of you that bent without breaking. And now, you're distant, not dramatic, not hostile, just unavailable in a way that feels final. They scroll sometimes. Not obsessively, just enough to check, to measure, to see if you're still the same. They replay old conversations in quiet moments. Not because they are shattered, but because something doesn't sit right. The ego doesn't like losing access. This isn't cinematic regret. There are no grand gestures. No late-night confessions. It's subtler than that. It's the slow realization that you no longer orbit them, that your attention isn't waiting to be reclaimed. There's an energetic imbalance now. They expected you to remain predictable, reachable, emotionally negotiable, but you stopped explaining, stopped overextending, stopped shrinking to maintain connection. The second person thinking about you isn't emotional. They're analytical. They don't miss you. They measure you. This is the quiet observer, the subtle competitor, the one who senses that something about you is shifting, and they're trying to calculate what it means. You notice it in small ways. A slight change in tone, a longer glance, a question that sounds casual but isn't. They're assessing your energy in rooms feels different now. You speak less, but when you do, people listen. You don't rush to fill silence. Online, you've become restrained. Fewer updates, more intention, more results. That restraint unsettles them, because unpredictability creates pressure. They can't tell if you're rebuilding or preparing. And that uncertainty forces comparison. It makes them evaluate their own position, their own growth, their own discipline. When someone starts measuring themselves against you, without you competing at all, that's when you've entered a different tier. You're no longer reacting to the environment. You're influencing it. This person watches because they sense potential momentum. Not chaos, momentum. And momentum, when quiet, is dangerous. But understand this clearly. This isn't your turning point either. The one who studies you sees you as a variable, a rising factor, a presence to account for. But the third person? They don't look at you with nostalgia. They don't look at you with competition. They look at you with recognition. The third person thinking about you is different. They may not even be close to you yet. Maybe you've crossed paths briefly. Maybe you haven't met at all. But somehow, there's an awareness forming, a subtle pull, an unspoken recognition. They don't see who you were. They see who you're becoming. While others focus on your past patterns or measure your current moves, this person senses trajectory, direction, depth. They notice the restraint in you and interpret it correctly. Not as distance, not as ego, but as refinement. There's resonance here, not loud chemistry, not chaotic intensity, something quieter, strategic, aligned. They're not drawn to your wounds. They're not trying to fix you or compete with you. They're drawn to your discipline, your clarity, your evolution. They recognize that your silence carries substance. This version of you is harder to access, and they know it. And instead of being intimidated, they're intrigued. That's the difference. This connection doesn't feel like obsession. It feels like calibration. Like two people who have both endured enough to understand the value of timing, of patience, of self-control. But here's the tension. If this version of them met the old version of you, it wouldn't work. The old you might have rushed it, over-explained, sought reassurance, mistaken calm for disinterest. You might have sabotaged something stable because chaos once felt more familiar than peace. That's why the evolution mattered. This meeting, whenever it happens, requires readiness, emotional regulation, self-trust, the ability to receive without gripping. It will not thrive on insecurity. It will respond to strength. So the question is no longer who is thinking about you. The question is whether you're fully prepared for the one who sees your future. And preparation doesn't start externally. It starts within. Before anyone started thinking about you, you were fighting a war no one could see. It wasn't against a person, it was against your impulses, your fears, your need to be chosen. Your habit of responding too quickly just to feel secure. The real battlefield was internal. Late nights where your mind replayed conversations on a loop. Moments you almost broke your own boundaries. Days you felt the weight of silence and had to resist filling it with noise. Ego deaths that didn't look dramatic from the outside but felt seismic within you. You questioned yourself, you doubted your growth. You wondered if detachment was strength or avoidance. Most people collapse here. Most people go back to what's familiar because transformation feels lonely before it feels powerful. You didn't. You stayed in the silence long enough for it to shape you. And what emerged wasn't coldness, it was clarity. Emotional control isn't suppression, it's precision. It's choosing when to respond and when to observe. It's knowing that not every feeling deserves expression. Not every trigger deserves engagement. You stopped reacting from wounds. You started responding from awareness. That shift recalibrated you. Your standards changed, your pace changed. Your tolerance for chaos dropped. You no longer confuse intensity with connection or attention with alignment. You're operating on a different frequency now. And that's why the third person matters. Because they don't meet the old you. They meet this version, the one forged in restraint. The one who earned their calm. The one who understands that power isn't loud, it's controlled. You already won the hardest battle. Now it's time to understand what that victory actually made you. What draws them in isn't what you display, it's what you withhold. You don't overshare your plans anymore. You don't broadcast every emotion in real time. You don't react impulsively just to prove you care. You observe, you calculate. You let moments breathe before you decide how much of yourself they deserve. And that restraint changes how people experience you. In a world addicted to noise, your silence feels expensive. Most people reveal everything immediately. Their fears, their intentions, their insecurities. They flood the room with access. You don't. You've learned that mystery isn't manipulation. It's self-respect. Scarcity creates value. When you don't chase attention, attention starts noticing you. When you don't argue for understanding, people lean closer to interpret you. When you don't react on command, your reactions gain weight. You're no longer trying to be understood. You're refining who deserves access. That shift is rare, it unsettles some. It intrigues others. It attracts the right ones and filters out the impulsive. You've become selective with your energy, and that selectiveness radiates stability. There's tension in that kind of presence. Because depth without desperation is uncommon, and now, without forcing anything, you've positioned yourself differently, not louder, not flashier, just elevated. The question isn't whether people feel it. The real question is what happens next. When the right person steps into that silence and recognizes its value. When the moment finally arrives, it won't feel explosive, it will feel calm. There won't be dramatic music in the background of your life. No chaotic push and pull. No guessing games designed to spike your adrenaline. It will feel clear, grounded, certain. You won't feel anxiety. You'll feel recognition. Like something clicking into place without force. The conversation will flow without performance. The silence won't feel heavy. You won't be scanning for red flags or searching for reassurance. You'll simply be present, steady, unmoved by the urge to impress, because you've already done the hard part. You endured the isolation that taught you self-sufficiency. You survived the ego deaths that stripped away your need for validation. You learned how to sit with yourself without panicking. So when alignment appears, you won't fumble it. You won't rush it out of fear of losing it. You won't sabotage it because peace feels unfamiliar. You won't confuse stability with boredom. You'll recognize it for what it is. This connection changes everything. Not because it rescues you, not because it completes you, but because it amplifies you. Two grounded frequencies don't create chaos. They create momentum. And in that moment, you'll understand something quietly powerful. You were never waiting to be chosen. You were preparing to be met. And when you are met correctly, there's no drama in it, only certainty. You were never invisible. You were early in your awareness, early in your discipline, early in your refusal to stay small, just to stay accepted. While others were still negotiating their standards, you were quietly raising yours. It only felt like isolation because few people operate at that frequency. The ones who lost you taught you detachment. They showed you what happens when you overextend. They revealed the cost of giving access without alignment. The ones who study you sharpened you. Their quiet comparison forced you to tighten your focus, to move with intention, to let your results speak instead of your emotions. And the one who truly sees you, they won't chase you, they'll meet you, because recognition doesn't require persuasion. This isn't your final form. There are still layers unfolding. Still levels you haven't accessed yet. But now you move differently. You don't rush your evolution. You don't announce every upgrade. You understand something most people don't. You don't chase what's aligned. You become undeniable. And when you become undeniable, the right minds don't just think about you. They find you.